I heard that you finally want to save some money this year, but you feel like you're already living paycheck to paycheck. I can relate, but let's fix that. Friday night. Hey, just got paid. Let me hold your hand when I say this. You need a budget. Like now, immediately. Netflix is not a bill. It's not a necessity, but it's not in the budget, baby. We're gonna make it happen. Don't worry. But we gotta make something shake with the savings, okay? You know you got some homework. You know, by now you know that you got some homework, okay? I'm holding you accountable. Maybe you watched my How I Saved $10,000 video and you want to do it too, but you feel like you're already struggling to make ends meet, which is very understandable. The economic climate right now is horrendous. But where there is a will, there is a way. If I can do it, you can do it. So today I'm going to be telling you how to actually save money. And you already know, no excuses. Let me go ahead and put my glasses on so we can get to work. I'm going to break down the information into chapters, starting out with chapter 1. And let me hold your hand when I say this. You need a budget. Like now, immediately. You need a budget. And I talked about this several times on my channel, but this is how you actually find space to save money. And I know a budget can sound like such an intimidating, large thing, but let's break it down. A budget is just knowing what your income is and what your expenses are. Simple. A budget does not need to be a long, planned out Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be an app on your phone. It doesn't have to be pen and paper. A budget can be as simple as a note in your notes app. That's what I have done for years. That's what's worked for me. And I find that that's the most simple, practical way to do a budget. One of the most important things about a budget is that you need to do it before your check hits. You need to set up your budget before you get paid because you know how it is. It's Friday night. Hey, just got paid. And then you get into this hyper mood where you just want to spend money because it's the weekend. You got money in your account. Your friends want to hang out. Like, oh, round of shots on me. Let me cover the bill. Next thing you know, your money is gone by Sunday. I know you can relate because I can relate. So if I know I get paid on Friday, I'm usually doing my budget by Wednesday, Thursday, the latest, and at the very latest Friday morning before I even look at my account because I know I'll see that number and get super excited. So I will just go ahead and start working on my budget as soon as I know my check is right around the corner. This will help you tremendously because you will know exactly where your money needs to go the second it hits your account, and there's no gray areas. Chapter 2, how to budget. So again, a budget is as simple as a list of your expenses versus your income. If you're anything like me, you really just have one main source of income and it's the same exact number every 2 weeks. So you pretty much know what to expect on that side. And think of bills as your needs, your bare bone necessities, the things that you need to survive, not your wants, not like for instance, Netflix is not a bill. Netflix is not a bill. It's not a necessity. I know you love your Netflix. I know everybody has a Netflix account, but it's not a bill. It's more of a want than a need. So as you're listing off your expenses or your bills, the very first thing I want to see on that budget, save. And I will put an example of my budget here on the screen so that you can just see what it looks like and how simple it is. Save needs to be the very first thing on your budget because you need to pay yourself first. Think about saving as prioritizing yourself. There is so much different things that we spend money on and that we have to spend money on, but we tend to pay for all those things first and then the scraps get left for us. And then the scraps be scraps, which is really nothing. So that's how we end up not saving any money. So you need to prioritize yourself. You need to prioritize saving. That needs to be the very first thing at the top of your budget, which you can see here on the example is the case with my budget. And you'll know exactly how much to save every time you get paid if you are following the 100 envelope challenge, which I mentioned in my How I Saved $10,000 video. Very clean cut, very straight to the point. We don't need to guess how much we're going to save. We don't need to see what's left to determine how much we're going to save. We know ahead of time exactly the number that needs to go directly into our envelopes or directly into our savings account. So yeah, savings is a non-negotiable if I didn't make that clear enough. Now you can go into the rest of your bills or your expenses, things like, your rent, your mortgage, your car note, groceries because we need food to survive. So I would put that under the bill or the expenses category. Your phone bill, daycare if you have a child, things like that. Just list it all out. I'm sure you know how much it is. If you need to go through your bank statement to get hardcore numbers of what those should be, then do what you got to do. Now, one thing that I live by is splitting my bills in half. For example, if I have to pay $1,000 in rent on the first of the month, I know that's not realistic, but just to keep the numbers simple. If I have to pay $1,000 for rent first of the month, me personally, I'm not going to take $1,000 immediately off my check and put it towards rent. I'm going to save $500 from this check and then $500 from my next check. So that way I'll have the full $1,000 come the first of the month versus just like depriving myself of this check just to pay my rent off in full. Now that you got the priorities out the way, the next category on your budget is going to be your wants, the things that you would like to do. Just to give you some examples, your wants could be going out to eat with your friends. Maybe you want to go to the movies. Maybe you have some hobbies that you want to indulge in. Maybe you want to treat yourself to a nice dinner. You want to get your nails done. You want to get your hair done. You want to buy yourself, a few things and go out shopping. And so after you tally up your expenses, the remaining balance of your check, that's what we can use towards our wants. And that is the short and sweet version of a budget when you want to make sure that you're actually saving money. Now, if you tallied up your expenses, but you realize that you don't have anything remaining for the wants, maybe you even went over budget, it's okay. Fear not. We are going to troubleshoot. And so troubleshooting just looks like making some adjustments to your budget. Now, I would start out with adjusting your wants because again, these are negotiable and I know you don't want to be miserable having this strict budget up until your next paycheck. You want to have time to indulge, which we are going to make time for. We're going to make it happen. Don't worry. But instead of maybe on your wants, you have go out to eat with your friends, but it's not in the budget, baby. Instead of going out to eat, you can also stay inside, cook a nice meal, and you can still have your friends over and you'll still have like good food. You'll still have your friends around you and have a good time. Probably even more fun than if you were to go out to eat. You could still make some drinks in the house. Like it can still very much be a great time in the house, but you're going to save a lot of money just by staying inside versus going out. Yes, you might need to get the groceries, but we all know groceries is cheaper than eating out. Or if you wanted to go to the movies, you can still watch a movie. You can just watch it in the house where you pay your rent and your mortgage. Maybe on your wants list, you wanted to get your nails done, but if you're anything like me, your nail tech is very expensive. And so it just doesn't fit in the budget. So maybe you look like me and you just don't have your nails done for the moment. Or maybe you invest in a press-on set. Or let's say you put $200 aside to go shopping, but your budget doesn't allow for it. Maybe you only put $100 aside. So it's not to say that you have to neglect yourself while you're budgeting, but you just have to make little adjustments, little tweaks to make sure that all areas are covered, meaning your savings, most importantly, your bills, and your wants. Now, another area that we can adjust with our budget is our bills. Now, this can get a little tricky, and I'm not a financial advisor, so do with this what you will. But there was a time once where my budget was extremely tight and I was ahead on my car note payments. And so I decided not to contribute towards that bill, just one check so that I can allocate that money into different areas. Now, this didn't result in any late fees or anything like that because, like I said, I was ahead. So I just adjusted it to where I wasn't ahead anymore. I was pretty much right on schedule, but I made that decision because it gave me a little bit more wiggle room within my finances to put that money somewhere else. Do with that what you will. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, and so that's why I think adjusting your bills gets a little bit tricky, but we want to look for ways that we can just tweak things so that we can breathe within our budget. Now, the last area that we can adjust within our budget, and I put this last strategically because, again, savings is a priority because you're saving for yourself, your future self, and what you might want down the line. But you can adjust your savings if it really comes to it. So for instance, you're following the 100 envelope challenge and you need to stuff $154. This is my exact situation, but your budget doesn't allow for it. So maybe you just stuff $100 instead. So we're not just going to completely take our savings and not put anything in there at all. We're just going to adjust it. And so on your 100 envelope challenge sheet, maybe you only halfway highlight the envelope so that you know that you need to still put money towards that envelope, but you're still contributing. Like I said in my last couple of videos, slow contribution is still contribution, okay? It doesn't have to be all or nothing, which is something that I am learning as well. Now, another bright idea, if you have gone over budget or you realize that you're not making enough money to do everything that you want and need to do, you can make some more money, which is definitely easier said than done. But I'll tell you what I do when I need to make some more money, which is the exact situation that I'm in right now because I have trips coming up and it's a lot going on. But I hit them streets and I do some DoorDash orders. I do some Grubhub orders. If you have access to Instacart and Shipt, you can do those orders. I am banned on both Instacart and Shipt, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, those apps are really quick and easy ways to literally just log in on your phone, hit the road, and make some money, and you can cash it out that same day with no transaction fee for most of them. And of course, that's if you happen to have a car or even a bike to where you can get around and do things like that. But there's also just so many other ways out there to make money very quickly on your phone. There's apps. So maybe just doing some research to see how you can increase your income. Or if you want, I can dedicate a video to a list of side hustles and how to make extra money. Another very easy, low effort way that I increase my income is by using Rakuten. And this is not sponsored. I don't know why. They should sponsor me because I've been talking about them for a while. But Rakuten is basically a cash back service, I guess, to where it is an extension that sits on your browser. But as you use your card on certain purchases at certain places, you will get cash back. And the cash back hits. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not gassing it up. Again, not sponsored, but the cash back really does add up. And you also get cash back for referring friends. I've got a few checks back from Rakuten, okay? I'm one of their favorite customers, which is nice because it'll come at a point where I least expect it and I need it the most. And so that little extra chunk of change makes a very big difference in my budget. But you already know I will have my referral link in the description box because if you sign up, you get $30 to $50 cash back, and I will get $30 to $50 cash back as well. So do me and yourself a favor and click that link. Last but certainly not least, you know you got some homework. By now you know that you got some homework, okay? I'm holding you accountable. Class is in session. First part of your homework assignment is obviously create a budget. And again, it could be something as simple as a note in your notes app and just list out all of your expenses, all of your wants so that you know what's going on with your money. Don't let it be a gray area because when you don't know what's going on in that bank account, that's how money just slips through the cracks and that's how you end up not having anything left to save. Another important key part of your homework assignment is to create that budget before you get paid. Don't wait until you get paid or after because a lot of the times after the fact is a little too late. You can still make something shake, but do it before so that you can plan your check accordingly and you can move how you need to move once that check hits your bank account. And the third part of your homework assignment is to put at least $15 towards your savings. I know you got it. I know you have it. Anyhow, you're getting a check, you got $15 to put towards your savings. I believe in you. And once you do that budget, you will see that you do have the $15 to save. You just need to move some things around to prioritize yourself and prioritize saving. And that pretty much concludes today's video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you leave a like and comment down below. If this video was helpful, comment down below budget, so that I know you're tapped in and that you're taking your finances serious because we're all in this together. We're all on the same page. But we got to make something shake with the savings, okay? Also, comment down below what your savings goal is for this year. I love chit-chatting with you guys in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.